Area forecast discussion. Jacksonville today's aviation conditions around the Jacksonville region are largely dominated by high pressure situated just off the southeast coast. This setup is allowing for a persistent east to southeast flow across the area. Early morning flyers should be mindful of the potential for patchy radiation fog, especially west of the Interstate 95 corridor, where lighter winds and lingering moisture could lead to reduced visibility around sunrise. However, widespread fog is not expected, and any impacts should be localized and short-lived. As the day progresses, dry air continues to advance westward across the region, keeping skies mostly clear and greatly reducing the chance for any convection. Even though the sea breeze will shift inland during the afternoon, the atmosphere remains too stable and dry to support thunderstorm activity. Expect daytime temperatures to climb into the mid to upper 80s inland, with slightly cooler readings closer to the coast. Winds through the day will generally be from the east-southeast at around 10 knots, which should promote good mixing and flight conditions. Area forecast discussion. Miami pilots operating in and out of South Florida today can expect another stable day dominated by a strong ridge both at the surface and aloft. This setup is promoting dry conditions across the region, with little to no chance of convection as a capping inversion remains firmly in place. Morning operations may see some scattered lower ceilings near the eastern terminals, but conditions are expected to remain well within visual flight rules for the majority of the day. The combination of dry air and strong subsidence will suppress vertical cloud growth, keeping skies mostly clear except for occasional shallow cumulus. Winds will play a more active role in today's flying weather, particularly near the coast. East to northeast winds will increase through the late morning hours, generally reaching 10 to 15 knots, with gusts peaking around 20 to 25 knots during the afternoon. This steady onshore flow will also help reinforce the east to west temperature gradient across the region. Pilots can expect cooler conditions along the Atlantic coast in the low to mid-80s, while those flying west toward inland or Gulf-side airfields will encounter warmer air with surface temperatures rising into the upper 80s. Later in the afternoon, a Gulf breeze is likely to develop along the southwest coast, particularly near airports like Naples. However, the overall wind regime remains manageable, with no significant frontal boundaries or convective activity expected. Turkey. Area forecast discussion. Melbourne, East Central Florida remains under the steady influence of high pressure over the western Atlantic, which continues to drive an onshore flow pattern across the region. Today's flying weather will be characterized by dry air, clear skies, and very limited convective potential. Sea breeze development along the Atlantic coast will reinforce easterly surface winds, with gusts this afternoon potentially reaching around 20 knots, especially near the coast. Inland areas will experience slightly lighter wind speeds as the sea breeze moves inland later in the day. Overall, skies will remain mostly clear, though some scattered to broken low-level clouds between 3,000 to 5,000 feet may briefly affect coastal terminals at times. These stratocumulus clouds are not expected to cause significant operational impacts, and ceilings will generally support visual flight rules throughout the day and night. The dry air mass and lack of large-scale lift means any threat of showers is negligible, and pilots can expect excellent visibility across the region. Charta. Area forecast discussion. Tampa Bay area. Weather remains firmly under the influence of a broad ridge both at the surface and aloft, which is maintaining a quiet and stable atmosphere over the peninsula. Pilots can expect visual flight rules to dominate through the day and into Thursday, with no significant weather disturbances or convection anticipated. Slightly drier air continues to move into the region, bringing down moisture levels and effectively eliminating rain chances through the short term. This dry air, combined with subsidence aloft, is keeping skies mostly clear with only a few scattered clouds, mainly along the coast. East to northeast winds will be the prevailing pattern across most terminals today, with a slight coastal enhancement due to the sea breeze in the afternoon. For coastal airports like Tampa, St. Petersburg, and Sarasota, this may result in a subtle shift or increase in wind speeds later in the day. Inland airfields will maintain more consistent easterly winds. Overall, these conditions make for an ideal flying environment, particularly for aviation.